Live in 3, 2, 1. Turn over. Cool beans.
Sweet.
All right. I'm here. I'm always late, but today
Made it.
I'm only somewhat late. All right, fellas, thank you all for tuning in. This is a brand new episode of The Jump Cut. I am your host today. I am Steve May. You can find me on Instagram at Drakentoss_. Today I'm joined by special guests Ryan DePaoli.
Hello.
You can find him at Crasic Art on Instagram. I just warned Vinny about this and he didn't do it. CRAESIC _art or CRAESIK_art. And Vinny Crowing or Vinny Scadopo, depending how you know him, at was it Suicide Pending?
And
Suicide __ pending.
On Instagram, it's _, yeah.
All right, good stuff. All right, so we got a fucking big episode today. Jesus Christ, I already have anxiety just thinking about
it. You want me to hold your hand? I'm already holding his hand.
Nigel couldn't be here this week, unfortunately. He's currently working on some stuff outside of Area 22. We want to wish him the best. He'll be back next week. We are going to be talking about Lion King as well as some Netflix originals, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be a bit of a slower week coming out for the next few weeks just due to the release schedule of things coming out. But in 2 weeks, we got the new Tarantino movie, and I'm sure you're going to love hearing Nigel how he fell asleep during it, so it's going to be amazing. All right, so first up, geek news. So we're going to start off a little light here. We have, Taika Waititi, we have Sam Neill, Paul Giamatti, Kathleen Turner to guest star in Rick and Morty Season 4 on Adult Swim. The airing is expected to come November 2019. That's just like the month of release. It's actually looking to be a new episode aired on November 16th at Adult Swim Festival. And it looks like that it's going to follow Adult Swim's track record of having 10 total seasons for their shows. So another 7 seasons of Rick and Morty. What do you guys think?
Oh joy!
Pretty excited. I gotta catch up. I never really got too into that show.
What do you guys think of Rick and Morty? Is your IQ high enough?
The first season I enjoyed, and then I kind of fell behind, and maybe I'll give it another go.
It never grabbed me.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's such a lighthearted show, and people take it really seriously. It really shouldn't be taken that seriously.
It's not that gripping. Yeah. It never grabbed me. I don't know. I kind of want to give it another shot though, because everybody goes crazy.
It's like the kind of show you sit back on like a Friday night if you had nothing to do, or like a weeknight, and you just kind of like you drink some orange juice, because we don't condone drinking alcohol here, and you just kind of like sit back some friends and just kind of enjoy. You're browsing your phone or whatever. It has like some smart humor to it.
Yeah,
it's well written. It's just like
hysterical,
not as highbrow as it's made out to be.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Any other thoughts on that? No? Okay.
It's all right. I mean, it's exciting for the fan. Right. It's gonna get crazy.
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion 3 got a spooky release date of Halloween.
Ooh.
First game, and I think it's the first game in over a decade. Going to be on the Nintendo Switch, and it's going to be more spooky. No. There's a Luigi's Mansion 2, I think, on the Wii U, right?
I didn't even know that. I played the first one, and then I was like, what? They're making a third? When did 2 happen?
Jesus, what's all that you got there?
That's just names for later.
Oh my God. Okay, he did his homework. So all right, coming up next, Lashana Lynch of Captain Marvel is going to be the new 007. She is going to be the black female lead, and it is going to be switching over from the womanizer male kind of like suave style to I don't even know what's going to happen with it. What direction do you think they're going to take with the show or the movies?
I think I was reading something where I don't think James Bond is not going to be in it. I do think he's coming back into it. He's just not going to have the 007 name anymore.
Well, it's said that the movie's going to start off with Daniel Craig's James Bond retired in Jamaica. So that's where they're going to start it. So it's not going to be James Bond. It's going to be a 007 character. Yeah. How do you think the character is going to be characterized for the next movies? Because this coming James Bond, Bond 25, is going to be Daniel Craig's swan song.
She should be like a maninizer instead of a womanizer. You know?
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking would happen, but I don't know if they're going to go down that route. I think they might take the route of what they did with Men in Black International, I don't know.
see that, but
I don't know because in Men in Black International they had the new character break into Men in Black HQ, spending her entire life trying to find it. She breaks and then she becomes part of the Force because she proves her worth. I don't know if they're going to do that for the upcoming movies with the new female character. If they're going to seek her out, because they did have female characters in the past Daniel Craig movies. So, what do you guys think? Do you think are you looking forward to it? Are you cautiously optimistic like I am? What do you?
I'll look forward to it. I don't like to judge things before they come out too much. People always they crap on everything all the time before it comes out, and sometimes it'll come out and it's really good, or sometimes it'll come out it's really bad. So you just gotta let the time go by and see how it goes.
Do you? What do you think, Vinny?
I'm kind of excited. I think I'm optimistic. I want to see
curious.
how they're doing it. Yeah,
I don't know how they're going to go about it,
but
if they do it well, if they do it well, I'm going to be really happy with it. I think. I don't care about swapping out the roles. I spoke with Nigel about this, and he said he would have preferred having Idris Elba, which I kind of could see. But if they do it right, they do it right, man.
Yeah, but making her, because it said make the next James Bond black
and
or
female.
Make her female. That's do both.
They did both. Yeah, exactly.
Do both.
All right. So, in other geek news, Aziz Ansari fell under attack when he did some really interesting sexual allegations in the past, where when he would kiss women, he would lick his hand and then stuff it down their mouth. That's what he used to do.
I never read that part. I remember reading a part of an article, and it was he took a girl out and he was gross. And
that was the grossness.
That was the thing.
So Netflix seemed to have canceled Master of None until a couple days ago, where they announced that Master of None season 3 is ready as soon as Aziz Ansari is. However, Aziz Ansari said that he currently doesn't want to do the show in his current mindset. He said he has plans for where the characters are going to go, but he said that he doesn't feel like he's the right person right now to do the show until he gets better. But it seems like he's game to make another season. I don't know if you guys ever watched the show.
I never seen it.
I don't think so.
Master of None follows. It's like it follows Aziz Ansari. It's entirely written by him, kind of following his adventures through Italy and through America as a comedian, and just kind of going about his life. And I think it's a pretty interesting show. I like seasons 1 and 2, but I don't know where they're going to go. I have a lot of geek news today. All right. Warhammer 40K is coming to TV. I don't know if you guys know the Warhammer 40K franchise.
I do. I haven't played it, but I kind of want to. It looks fun.
Oh, it's
Warhammer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Warhammer 40K is a tabletop role playing game, but the lore in the world is so in depth and advanced that it spans across so many games and so many movies and whatever. Just incredible. But Game Master Games, company that owns Warhammer, are so fickle on who uses it. It's they made Warhammer 40K Vermintide, which is a Left 4 Dead style game but with rats, following the lore of the game. But they made it with a small studio, because if the studio flunked, they didn't lose out a lot of money. If it succeeded, big game, big money. So that's coming. It's going to be following the character Gregor Eisenhorn in a live-action television series produced by Frank Spotsnitz, who is known for Man in the High Castle, the Amazon Prime original series, as well as the X-Files producer. It's going to be dealing with threats that could harm the Imperium of Man, which is from what I read, where most of the human race is united.
That's empire, right?
Yeah. And there is no word on when it'll enter production, but it was confirmed.
We've come to kill you, Gregory.
Any thoughts on that before we move on?
Sounds like a fun time. I'll definitely check it out when it comes out.
Okay. Next up, Nintendo World. The Nintendo World models and figures have been leaked. It shows Mario-based models, as well as a Donkey Kong section as well. Nothing super iconic being shown in the world. It looks kind of bland and lackluster. But would it be something that you guys would be interested in paying to see?
No.
No. Why not?
I just don't.
You're not a Nintendo guy?
Not really, but yeah.
What about you, Ryan?
I could give it a go. I like to play everything, really. I still got to get a Switch though, and all that.
Yeah, you got to buy one of those. You got to catch up.
I like GameStop
Nintendo,
and
though.
break a Switch.
I like all the game systems.
All right. Um,
Then they make me buy it. I'll break it. Then make me buy it, and I don't even have to own it.
Jesus Christ. All
give
right,
me your
so
money.
next up on Geek News, Glenn Howerton's AP Bio has been revived for a season 3 on NBC Universal Streaming. AP Bio follows Glenn Howerton of Always Sunny in Philadelphia fame as he plays an AP Bio professor, formerly a writer, who uses his students to perform antics against his one-sided competitor who is a famous writer. Have you guys ever seen the show?
No, I never heard of the show.
Never heard of AP Bio?
No.
Fantastic show. I do recommend watching it. It's on Hulu, I believe.
I'll definitely do that. I got a lot to
I've
watch.
been living under a rock.
It's a good show. I believe Glenn Howerton is the only person on Always Sunny doing something right now. You have I forgot her name, the character who played Deandra Reynolds on the show. The actress who played him did the Mick for seasons 1 and 2, and then it got pruned, which kind of is a shame. It was a good show, but she gave it. I believe the writers gave a definitive ending written up for people to get closure. So, I guess that's that.
Aw.
At least they
we
got
got
that.
closure. At least they
I
got that.
hate when they cancel shows and there's no closure. You're like, what? You can't do that.
Yeah. Other geek news for The Walking Dead fans. The news for season 10 is showing that it's going to start off with Negan freed from jail. I did not know he was in jail. I did not watch The Walking
Find
Dead.
out.
I
New
haven't
things
watched
every
it.
day.
I haven't watched it since like 2 seasons ago when they killed Carl.
What do you think, Ryan?
That's
When
I
was the last
stopped
time I
watching
watched
it.
All
I
right.
used to binge it, but the
just
last
the
time I
best.
watched it, with
They
the,
killed
I think it
off.
was like after the governor got killed.
So my thing with The Walking Dead.
That's where it should have ended.
Yeah.
That's where it should have ended.
Well, my thing with The Walking Dead, the comics are really good, but the show's following a formula. Because season 1 was really good. Then they fired most of the writing team to cut budget, even the show was making a lot of money, and kept cutting budgets, even the show was making more and more money. And season 1, they're speaking with the director, talking about stories of how he wanted to approach the show as it continued, making deviate in his own path. And it was really interesting, but they didn't do much with it because they got new writers. So instead, they had in the comics, it was three or four issues, but in the show, it was an entire season of them at the farm.
Who are the producers? The central banking system?
AMC.
No, central banking system. They just keep cutting the budget but making more money.
AMC is just
terrible.
ridiculous about it. And the show's
That's really terrible,
The show's
yeah.
a huge brand.
Yeah.
But I stopped watching the show at season 4, and then
That's
I
when
started.
it should have ended.
And then I was like, and then that season 4, I was at a point where I'm like, all right, let me just start cherry picking episodes, skipping a lot of the filler. But as I'm watching the
terrible.
show, I'm just like, I don't care.
The rest of the last
I
seasons
feel
were
like-
filler. There was no season to the season.
I feel like it's just a lot of unnecessary
Anticipation.
drama and stuff, and the zombies are more
Yeah.
background noise.
Well, that's the
now.
point. The whole point
But
of
now it's like more than
yeah,
usual.
but the point of The Walking Dead was that it's supposed to be focusing on the characters existing in a world that has a zombie apocalypse rather than trying to survive from the zombies. You know,
Yeah, it's like the first 2 seasons.
because
are
the
like
humans
that.
are more
Yeah.
volatile than the zombies. And you can find out more about volatiles on my show, Steve Squared, every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Mr. Stephen Michael O'Kane. Tune in. Anyway, let's see. We're on our final piece of geek news. So it looks like that Netflix today had an earnings call. Based on Netflix, what's been going on with them? Do you think that they're going up in stocks, going down? How much do you think they're going to make?
They're canceling everything.
I think they're losing.
For
Yeah,
Disney
yeah,
Plus.
Yeah. They want to do that whole no smoking thing, which ridiculous.
Yeah, which we discussed last week on the show Jump on episode 21. Tune into that if you want to find out more. But yeah, they lost a lot of shows, but they're still buying up movies and series from Sundance, so they might still have a chance to keep going.
They'll
Maybe.
continue, but it's like they're kind of taking a step down as Disney is taking a step up.
Yeah, I mean, you have Warner Bros. Launching their thing,
Exactly.
which is huge.
a bunch of people. There's
Everyone's
DC,
launching something now.
Wait, which
DC, everyone's stepping up, and so they're like taking a step down. I feel like.
Which I'm not huge about Warner Brothers and their copyright policy, but they have a lot of property that would be really interesting. Disney's launching their platform too. Then on top of that, you have Hulu, which is starting to get stronger. It's not strong yet, but it's getting stronger. And we think, me and Nigel suspected that Hulu is where the horror content from Disney Plus is going to go, or more the more mature stuff. So that's what I think is going to happen.
Wait, it's gonna go to Hulu. You're
Hulu, yeah, instead of Disney Plus, keep Disney Plus more family friendly.
saying? So all the good horror stuff's gonna go.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen because Scream's on Hulu. That's where I found it. But yeah, that's everything on Geek News. That was a good bit of geek news. I powered through everything, and man, that was did I miss anything? I'm kind of scared that I skipped
Yeah,
something.
like a whole list.
I have a whole. This is
Whole
like I don't know if you
page.
can see it, but this is all geek news, and this is geek news. So that's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, but that's everything. All right, so we have.
Your eyes are beat red. I can.
All right. So we have a couple of reviews before we get into Stranger Things spoiler territory. So first thing we have up is Stuber, which you didn't see.
I saw it.
You saw it?
No.
He said he was going to say.
Vinny didn't see any of these movies that we agreed to see, so he's just going to sit. He's going to sit and ask us about these things if he has any questions.
Emotionally, he was
pants
there
off
with
under the
us.
table.
All right, so let's go into Stuber. Let's start with you. What do you think of Stuber?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun time. The main character.
All right, but before we go into that, let's go into what the movie's about. Stuber follows Detective Vic who's played by Dave Bautista, and Kumail Nanjiani. I hope I didn't butcher it. Who plays Stu, an Uber driver. Detective Vic just got eye surgery. He got LASIK eye surgery, and he just right after losing his partner in crime, now he's hell bent on a mission to find the man who killed her and arrest him, or kill him, depending on how they're going with the show or the movie. I have so many issues with this movie, but but overall, this seems to be following. It seems to be going more building the relationship as a buddy cop movie between Stu and Vic, and the relationship. You can argue whether you like it or not, but that's kind of the path that it's going, and is also going a little bit into Detective Vic's backstory as a father as well as a detective on the force. So anyway, back to what you were saying.
Yeah, I think the main guy who played Stu, though, carried a lot of it, in my opinion.
Nanjiani, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he did great.
Mm-hmm.
Not that Batista's bad, but I feel like what they gave him wasn't the best, probably. Still, I enjoyed it, though. I thought it was a fun time. I don't think it was the best movie. I don't think it was great, but I thought it was good.
Have you seen Nice Guys?
I feel like I did with you a while back.
Do you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
This movie felt like to me like a Weaker Nice Guys. I think I mentioned this to you when we saw it in the theater.
Weaker Nice
Like
Guys.
Yeah. Have you seen Nice Guys?
Nice Guys
Glad
Light.
I didn't see it.
Nice Guys Light.
Nice Guys Light.
You didn't see Nice Guys?
No. I'm glad I didn't
Did you see
either of those
anything?
movies. No.
Nice Guys
I
pretty
don't
good.
watch
I like Nice Guys.
You're just here.
Nigel didn't like Nice Guys. Nigel said that Nice Guys he felt it didn't live up to the potential that he saw for it.
He didn't like Midsummer either.
Yeah. Midsummer's. Do you saw Midsummer or no?
No, but I heard a lot of people.
I liked Midsummer. I didn't think it was amazing, and I don't think I would see it again, but I enjoyed it. So
I gotta check that out.
it kept dragging along.
Yeah, check everything.
Yeah, I'm checking
One thing
you
with
out.
Stuber is that pacing, it was just awkward.
Yeah.
Like I never really was engaged in a lot of the conversation that was going on between both Stu and Vic, but like they had some good like cameos. Like they had the guy from Shameless who played Felix the stripper. I forgot his name. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think
He played I'm forgetting. He played Kevin in Shameless, but I forgot the actor's name. Forgive me. But the movie, one thing I noticed is that they don't address a lot of the characters by name. It's just like, I saw you before. It's like, what is this?
even when you look up the cast later, they don't like they just have the actor. You're like, who
I was
are
on
you?
Google. It's usually pretty good about it. I go into IMDb and then I finally saw names as Harry. Like the stripper's name is Felix, even though they never called him Felix.
Yeah.
But like, even Detective Vic, did you remember his name before I told you it?
No.
Yeah. Like, all right, so a couple of complaints that I have written down here. First of all, the intro scene, the entire first fight, was cut like a trailer.
It really was.
It felt like I was watching a trailer for the movie, and it was just really cut awkwardly. It was jumping around a lot of scenes, really weird camera angles, and it didn't really fully engage me. And Bautista's acting in this movie felt like a little bit more of a complex version of Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, but like less interesting as a character somehow. He says complete sentences and thoughts, but it's a less interesting character in some way. So, I don't know. And like I said, like we both agreed on, Kumail Nanjiani did a really good job with it.
Yeah.
The action sequences were okay. A lot of it was just... If you saw the trailer, a lot of it was given away. A lot of the ending of the movie...
Well, that's a lot of trailers nowadays.
You were able to call the ending of the movie from like the beginning,
Yeah.
Like, it's just not a movie that... I wanted to have more fun with this. In fact, I expected to like this more than Crawl, and I just really didn't. It was just such an... The thing with reviewing movies is, like, a movie can be really good or it can be really bad, and I love it if it's one of those, Really good movie you can praise and you have a good time with it. If it's really bad, you can laugh at it and you can just crap all over it. But a movie like this, it's like...
In the middle, you're like, I don't know what to do with it.
Tried hard.
It's like mediocre. It's just like you're following along, like, what's going on with it, but just, like, going back and forth. It's just, like... The pacing was really bad. There were a lot of low points. There were a lot of points that were more exhilarating, but even like the high tense and high octane action scenes didn't really do much for me. So, I don't know. The movie, I wouldn't even recommend it. I really wouldn't recommend to watch it. If it's like on TV,
when it comes out.
if it's on TV and you're just scrolling around, you want something to watch, you pull out like some popcorn, you just like pop some in your mouth. You'd probably have a good time with that. But man, overall, I just did not enjoy it. Do you have any thoughts about the movie?
I pretty much agree with everything you said for the most part.
The opinionless man.
Yeah, the pacing I had some issues with. Like I said, the main character carried it. I thought he was great.
Just so many of the dynamics in the movie were forced.
I feel like it was very predictable, and I feel like. So you mentioned basically, in the trailer, they think they showed it too, or he is blind. That's like the whole point.
Yeah.
And I feel like they overplayed that a little bit.
They could have. I'm sorry. It didn't need to last the whole movie. They could have just made it last for like maybe the first like 20, 30 minutes after it happened, and that's it.
I was just like, they're doing this again.
Because the way they did it at first was like for plot point, and it made sense for him to meet Stu and everything. But then like at a certain point, he could have gotten his vision back, and before, I don't know. But overall, if it wasn't for Kumail Nanjiani, I wouldn't have enjoyed myself as much as I did. So
I agree.
Yeah. Any thoughts on what we said?
I remember we saw the trailer together.
Yeah.
And you were like, "Oh, that looks like a good movie," and I was like, "That looks like crap,"
because
that looks like garbage.
Because you know what it reminded me of?
Negative experience with the trailer.
With the trailer,
it reminded me of Spy with Jason Statham and Melissa McCarthy.
You wanted to see it, and I was like, "Nah."
But that was a cool movie. Have you seen Spy?
Yeah, Spy
was a really cool movie.
Spy was fun. Yeah,
I thought it could have been somewhat like that,
like 2014 or something. It came out. Yeah, 2014.
But
Spy
I mean, they have the new Dave Bautista movie called My Spy with where he basically gets caught as a spy from a little girl. So I wonder how that's going to go. I'm hoping it lets Bautista flex his acting muscles a little bit more, because from what I see, he's going to keep getting typecasted as the same fucking character for every movie. Just that like
that motif,
that brainless musclehead.
Yeah, flexes his acting muscles.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's
cute.
Thank you. So Stuber, I don't recommend watching it unless you're bored and you need something to see on TV, or if you're like me and Nigel, where you have just like Movie Pass and you just want something to do and you're just in the area.
You have a free night, you're just like, I'll do it.
Man, there's so many other things I recommend doing to see in this movie. But anyway, Crawl!
There we go.
Crawl. All right. Okay. So Crawl follows. So the story of Crawl, a Category 5 hurricane is coming for this character's hometown. The protagonist, who I didn't look up because I'm very good at
Haley, I think.
Yeah, Haley, who I'm really good at my job, as you can tell. She's a professional swimmer. She's been doing it all of her life. She finishes a swimming session, I think it's practice or a tourney or something. Yeah. She finds out that her dad's not responding. She goes into the heart of the storm to find out what's wrong with her dad, only to find out that he's trapped in a flooded basement of his secondary home. And the drama ensues from there. The movie is a thriller. It takes place mostly in 1 and 2 locations, all within a similar perimeter. But the thrill comes from alligators. When I saw this trailer, and you were there when I saw the trailer, it just looked so dumb to me. Like it was like I think it was
fun, but
I think it was directed or produced by Sam Raimi. So I'm like,
it was.
Yeah,
could be good, could be bad.
You hear Raimi, you're like, oh, I don't know, he messed up Spider-Man.
Hey, Nick Eppert, thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Steve, for tuning in, and thank you, Vinny, for tuning in.
Ooh. Oh,
look at that!
Thank you, Steve, for tuning in. Thank you, Ryan, for tuning in.
So Ryan's not tuned in.
He's tuned in.
But the movie, it was actually way more tense than I expected it to be, following like with the alligators and everything. I expected it to just be like really stupid,
I thought it was gonna be really cheesy, but I thought it actually, like, the acting and everything was really good.
But there's a lot. It was really smart. First of all, the one thing I say about the movie is that pacing, man. Oh. I never was bored.
Yeah.
Like it threw you right into the thick of it and just didn't stop. And the movie, it was so refreshing to see a movie that's only an hour and a half. It was like an hour 24 minutes, something like that. Oh my God, thank you, because I am so sick of sitting through these movies that don't need to be 2 hours that end up being fucking 2 hours long, and it's just not fun for me at that point. But with this movie, fortunately, I was able to have a good time. Following the characters throughout the scenes and everything, all the battles that are happening, you see a lot of, there's some good foreshadowing going on. Like her swim team's called Gators. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, I saw that at the beginning. I was like,
cute. Yeah, it's like a very basic level, but then they like go into but then they just go into like a lot more layers of things to come, and they show a lot of different kinds of people, how they act in these storms. Like you have looters, and then you got the rescue patrol and all that stuff. It's just there's a lot of characters coming in and out showing how different paths could work, but there were some scenes in this movie that just didn't make sense to me. Like in one scene, Haley lost her phone, like trying to help her dad,
This is the same
and
scene, I think. Yeah.
and she could have just grabbed her phone, went back to cover, and been fine. But instead, she's just out there, just texting away.
I was gonna say the same thing. I was like, why would you try and do that there and not get to safety first? Like, get to safety.
All right, I've spoke a decent bit with this setup. Give your thoughts of this movie. Feel it up.
I really enjoyed it. I feel like I thought it was gonna be more like Jaws kind of, but like it had like a very different feeling.
Into the mic.
Had a very different feel though. But it had like the suspense, like you were never, like you said, you were never bored with this movie. It was like a pretty fun time. They did some dumb things at times, but I feel like that's just thriller horror movies in general.
It was just a surprisingly good thriller.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Oh
And it was
my
short.
lord! Yes, it's like I would
So,
definitely
fun
watch this
time.
again on TV.
I recommend
I
it.
guess that's pretty good. Yeah, that does have that Jaws feel, I guess.
Yeah.
One thing that did bother me about this movie, though, the acting was phenomenal, but there was some CGI that just stuck out like a sore thumb.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that ending scene with the way the water looked and everything? Just how bad that looked. I don't know if it busted out to you.
Nothing was worse than back when we saw Hellboy though, and he has like a scorpion on his hand, and I'm like, that looks so bad. I'm like, you can't even get the scorpion on his hand right. What is this? So,
What'd your grandma think about it?
my grandma really enjoyed it actually. I could tell you specifically why, but I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay.
So, could you say it without spoiling anything? Because we have a 2-week rule here on the jump cut, and for Stranger Things coming up, it's been 13 days. It's close enough, and we don't have shows on Thursday, so you had your opportunity. Go.
Let's see. Well, let's just say she liked the dog.
That dog, that's another thing. The dog was like a distress signal, It like constantly like alluded to things that were going to happen.
That's cool.
They should make a game where you're just the dog trying to alert them. Like
It was something like wherever the dog went, chaos ensued. I think I noticed that. What about you?
So he was behind the whole thing. I should have.
Yeah, the dog was secretly an alligator.
Oh, dogs. Was it a black dog?
Yeah,
Yeah. See, black dogs specifically symbolize death.
yeah. So, but it was also kind of like it was just really interesting because like I got to see this movie again to really delve deeper into it. I really wish I got a chance to see it twice. I just couldn't. I didn't have the time. But yeah, it was a good movie. It's surprisingly layered. I think you'll get more out of it on a second watch. But like there were kills, there was gore, it was fun. And overall, it's just an enjoyable movie, and it's something to watch on like horror night, with the friends, and you just chill back, and you.
It makes me kind of want to watch. And I don't remember if I enjoyed it that much, but Lake Placid, is that what it was?
Lake Placid?
I kind of want to go.
The dog was in
rewatch
cahoots.
that.
Yes, it was with the spiders.
Lake Placid.
There we go.
I recommend watching it. I'm probably going to see it again in theaters if I have the opportunity, but I doubt I will. But I do recommend seeing it. It's a really good movie this year, and it was really surprising to me too. Overall, really consistent. Really not a bland movie.
2 thumbs up.
Good pacing, and it took place in like one location. It was done pretty well with that. So, anyway, we're about the halfway point of the show. So, do you know what that means?
Ooh.
Stranger Things 3 spoiler talk.
You saw this, right?
Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I watched it
All
in
right.
days. Yeah.
This fucking kid. We made
Asshole.
plans. This douche. We
Piece
made,
of shit.
we made plans to watch Stranger Things on July 4th. We didn't get a chance to because you just came back from Aruba.
Yep.
But we made plans to watch it weeks before the show came out. This he watched the movie on the plane ride down, or the show down on his way down to Aruba, and again down in Aruba. And I'm like, guy. He comes back up. We're watching the show, and he's really being really suspicious. And then after he finished the show, he's like, "Yeah, I watched it 3 times." So,
Asshole.
Listen,
3
season
times.
3, 3rd time's the charm.
yeah, Steve, there it is. There it is. Call him out too. I don't like this guy. You're out. You're canceled. You're canceled. Get out of here. All right.
And
So
you had me call him and just curse at him and say horrible things to him.
yeah,
At first, I was like, "Who's that on the phone?" I just heard like constant cursing. And I'm like,
Horrible things.
oh, it's Vinny.
he defiled Ryan's poor virgin body with his voice, and it was something.
It's still.
Oh my
recovering.
goodness. Yeah, so going to Stranger Things. Let's start off. Give a brief discussion. What was season 1 about? Okay, let's start off with that. Let's want to do Vinny. Want to do that?
Oh my god!
Or is it too long ago for you?
I mean, no.
got this.
Season
All right,
one.
Go for it.
Season 1. I mean, I could go through every episode. I rewatched the whole thing.
Well, give a general synopsis.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of get introduced to these kids.
And heads up, this is spoiler territory. If you haven't seen Stranger Things 1, 2, or 3, you're going to want to tune out now. But if you have tuned in, you want to join in and throw us your wild discussions and theories and whatever, even if you're not caught up to date, have fun. Go!
I mean, I love season 1. Season 1 is like, it takes a lot from Stephen King, a lot from 80s horror, sci-fi, and stuff. You get introduced to these kids right away. They're all these friends, and then Will goes missing, and you don't really see why. It's everything like kind of, they're running from something in the first shot, at the beginning of the first episode.
And it paid a lot of
running from
homages to
something.
to 80s style horror too.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
all
that's what I really liked about it.
Dungeons and Dragons, yeah, everything. It's just
Yeah, the what's it called? The what was it? The dog things?
The dog.
the second
the
Demogorgons.
Demogorgons.
Demodogs.
Yeah. No, those were like straight out of D&D lore.
Yeah.
Well, the name.
Oh, the whole, yeah.
Look exactly.
No, the look wasn't exactly, but that's what I liked about the show is that
that's where they get-
my favorite kind of horror is retro, like 80s and 70s, 80s style horror. Like one of my favorite horror movies of all time is Halloween from 1978. I also really like I think it was 79 Alien.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a really good movie too.
79, yeah.
But yeah, let's just continue with
I mean,
the
so
synopsis.
you meet these kids, and then Will goes missing, and then by the end, like it's very mysterious. That's why it's called Stranger Things. It keeps you kind of the first season, especially. I remember the first time watching it, I was just like, "What's going on?" And at the end of every episode, what is going on?
Yeah.
It gets you crazy, and then you meet 11,
And it was surprisingly
just-
spooky too.
yeah, it's spooky, it's emotional,
It was off the
it's
wall.
dark, yeah,
Really good
it's
character development.
pretty, it's everything. It's got
Throughout the
everything.
entire show, just phenomenal
Suspense.
character
It's amazing.
development.
Yeah, it's amazing, and you meet 11.
It always kept you hooked. Like I had to watch the next episode. After every episode, you got to watch the next one. Like, it's like I know it's 3 a.m. in the morning, but I got to keep going.
Yeah, that's dude. And I got work in the morning. Yeah, I did the same thing. It's like terrible. But you meet 11, and she's just like mute. She doesn't talk. But
Yeah.
she's got these powers.
Yeah.
And they start. Then the whole faking of Will's death. That scene, I cry every time I
completely
watch that
forgot
scene.
that happened
They
watching-
pulling his body
rewatching
out
it.
of the water.
Winona Ryder did an awesome job with her
As
acting
the mother,
that season.
yeah. Oh my
And,
god.
and
Phone
Dave Harbour,
calls,
too.
going crazy. Oh my god.
And what's really good about the show, they actually kickstarted
You have
what's
the
his name?
notes. Here's a note. Who played Jonathan? No, I love Jonathan.
It
Charlie
kickstarted.
Heaton.
Look at him. Studied.
Finn Wolfhard. He did a really good job from the show. The show seemed to really focus on him for season 1 too.
Yeah, well, he's the best. He's like Will's best friend. They were
Yeah.
friends before everyone was him. And then Dustin moved in later. That you find things
Yeah.
out like later in the second season, and so you find
But,
more about how
but,
they
like,
became friends.
Mike was a really cool character. I just liked I liked the following his adventure. I like when he found 11 and he brought 11 into his home under his wing, kind of teaching her the way of civilization. Making her kind of like normal and acclimated and assimilated into society.
Yeah,
And it was just really interesting. And what I like so much is that 11 was kind of your looking glass into the world, right?
exactly.
Because
Yeah,
11,
she doesn't know nothing.
'cause 11 knew nothing, but also she knew everything going on. Because like she knew nothing what was happening, but she had that like fourth wall breaking extraterrestrial like telekinesis type deal.
Yeah, I love.
And that was
yeah.
like. That's what was really interesting to me about the show is like
Yeah, I
because
never
a
thought
lot
like
of times
that.
you have a main protagonist that you look through for the show and you're frequently switching between Mike and 11, but it's really 11 that you're looking through.
Yeah,
And you have Dave Harbour who brought 11 into his home and he was testing his hand as a father, and that was just so heartwarming to see. You know,
Hob. Yeah, Hob. And like Hob. The whole first season with his daughter and stuff that killed me, and Mike and 11's like he like fell in love with her.
yeah.
And then he like in the second season
actually-
he kind of doesn't even
He plays
like
that his
talk to anybody else. He doesn't care. He just like cares about her. He's all he's worried about.
And the
until
second
he sees it in
season,
the
did that
second
come out
season.
after when he was in It? Or was It after season 2?
I feel like they were filmed around the same time.
Because I remember when he was
2017, they came out 2017 of October, and it
Yeah.
came out in September of 2017.
Okay, so
If-
I remember
yeah.
I remember when he was after Stranger Things 1 aired and before Stranger Things 2, he was talking on Game Grumps on one of their episodes, and he said that under contract he wasn't allowed to curse or anything on podcasts because he had to preserve the image of a really innocent child. But then he's in It.
Right before the season came out, and then he's
all his
in
character
it.
does.
Yeah,
That's Richie, yeah. If you read that book.
yeah. So But yeah, that first season's incredible. If you watch nothing about that show, just watch the first season. It's a really good time. Unfortunately, though, we got to move on to the second season.
Yeah.
So season 2.
Season 2.
Season 2. Give
love
the
it.
synopsis. I'll give this one to Ryan.
Yeah.
So basically, it continues right where season 1 left off.
And where did one leave off?
Will spits up like a slug thing.
They find Will from the Upside Down,
Yeah.
which is the world that was exposed in season 1. They find Will from the Upside Down, and then he spits up a slug, showing that the Upside Down is still a thing.
That Peter Gabriel song when they find him.
Ugh.
No, but
Yeah,
it comes
but-
back. Yeah.
Yeah, but they find the Upside Down still exists. Goes into season 2, picks up right where it left off,
Yep.
and season 2 takes place on Halloween, and it came out on Halloween. So
And then Will's basically traumatized from everything in the past season. He's like, a very quiet kid, and he's very shy and shaky. His mom's very overprotective of him, which is obviously, that you could see that happening with what happened in the first season with the whole Demogorgon thing. And basically, while all this is going on, the slug that he spit up ends up turning up, and Dustin ends up adopting it, thinking it's a new species. And he names it Dart, which I think is named after the Three Musketeers. Feeds it nougats, and it turns out to eventually become a Demogorgon baby, basically. And you watch it kind of grow. Yeah. Well, the next stage would have been the Demogorgon, but it didn't get to that point. But yeah, you get the Demodogs.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
The dog and then it's the
stage,
Demogorgon?
yeah.
Oh, so that's the very end scene of
So
season 3.
it's just like the child stage of it, and he basically raises it as like a parent.
brief synopsis. Just go over the big plot points.
Yeah, basically, Will encounters this shadow figure, which the Duffer Brothers chose the name the Mind Flayer from the game Dungeons and Dragons again, which I thought was interesting. They actually looked through all the Dungeons and Dragons characters.
D&D is the best game. It's as good as your imagination lets you have it, and
I really want to start.
it's a lot of fun. I'll talk to you after the show. I think I'll have a campaign you might be able to get involved in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he ends up getting possessed. Without his mom is now dating this guy named Bob, who tries to help him because he thinks he's dealing with a bully, but he's really been stalked by this shadow creature, the Mind Flayer. And that does not. The advice he gives him does not work out in his favor, and the whole season's them trying to get it out of him, and they realize that if they hurt anything connected to this thing, because it's a hive mind kind of thing,
Like Steve Squared, tune in every Friday.
it will affect him. They try burning, some of the areas that are infected, and he feels it in his body. And I thought it was a fun season. And Rip Bob.
Yeah.
It burns!
And one thing that they also discussed in the season was 11 going through her angsty phase,
Oh, yes.
finding that new group of friends, which I'm pretty sure is going to borderline be non-canonical anymore, because
A lot of people didn't like that episode, but I feel like it would
She's a
be
criminal.
a waste
Yeah.
for them to not.
but that's a good thing though.
opened it.
They showed her indulging her dark side, and she didn't like it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
that's why it was so important.
Exactly. Yeah. That she could be dark.
Yeah, and that was a gloriously filmed episode. That was just gorgeous.
God, yeah.
All the neons and everything. That's
That's
the
when
thing.
they bring up Brenner.
Yeah, but that's what's really good about season 3. Season 3 has really gorgeous cinematography because it feels like the really retro 80s.
God,
yeah.
Those
so perfect.
bright purples and blues and pinks. It's just
So
oh my
perfect,
god.
Yeah.
But yeah, so season 2 ends with season 2
She seals the gate.
Close.
ends with the gate being sealed, and then you see that that Mike is in his bathroom, which then he kind of phases into the Upside Down, showing it still exists. And we're going to season 3 now.
What was it like a dance? It was at
we
a
can't
dance.
forget.
It ended
We
with that
can't
dance.
forget Steve, the
Yes.
greatest mother of all.
Yeah, one thing I got to say is that Steve started in season 1 as a really terribly mean character, just like mean spirited in every way, a
Perfect character
bully.
development.
He broke the camera of what was Mike's brother's name? Or no, Will's brother. I'm
Jonathan.
sorry.
Broke
Jonathan?
Jonathan's he broke Jonathan's
That should be
camera,
his name.
and
That's
at
my
the end of
brother's
it, they
name.
brought him a camera. At the
Yeah.
end of
So like it's
season
so
one.
he went from being a complete asshole to being a genuinely nice guy that everyone loved. And that's what's really good.
Amazing.
And he actually
I
ended
love
up
him and Dustin. I love them together. They work so well together.
They should
but he
be-
ended up becoming friends in real life with Kate and
Yeah.
Maserati, like really close friends. And it's just like it's really cool seeing that come out of the show, you know. And what's good is that they played on Gate and Maserato's they played on his illness like really well. And that's what I really liked about it, is that they didn't bring him on saying that like, oh, nothing's wrong, don't worry about it. They addressed it to address the questions,
Yeah.
and they ran with it, and that was smart. a really smart way to go about the show.
It's always good to have people bring in their own like takes on the character, kind of, so that they allowed that to happen. Because when you give that character what he actually has, he can, he's the one that has control over that whole thing, basically.
Yeah, every character in the show is so relatable, and I relate to every character in a different part of a different place I was in a different part of my life. They're just so
they remind me of
real
the kids from
and relatable.
It.
Yeah,
they remind me of that that squad, because like everyone in the show,
the loser squad, and
because
the thing, it's definitely taken from it.
Yeah, it's just really It's a really fun show, and I like Eleven's kind of evolving through it. But then
the second season,
Dustin is Chunk.
I loved how they got Sean Astin in from the Goonies.
Of course, Dustin is Chunk, and I saw in the first season I was like, Dustin is literally Chunk.
Yeah,
he does like the scream shit.
Yeah,
he says it exactly like that. He does, but it's funny like what they take and how they use it.
So let's go into season 3 now. Season 3, what's really interesting is they're all teenagers. The show, as the seasons are coming out, it's growing up with the kids, because they can't be kids forever. They're like when you're a preteen and adolescent, you get shown as you're growing up like way more rapidly than any adult. Like if you're an adult, you can play like a 20-year-old for like years. Yeah. But like these kids can't. So they're teenagers now, going through that angst, going through that kissing phase, but where Mike and 11 are dating.
Yep.
3 inches.
3 inches exactly. Rip Bob
I'm
Harvard.
not talking about that.
Lucas and Max are also dating.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And it's just like, but that was really, really interesting is that they also showed the evolution of the character of Billy, which I saw.
I loved it.
Dacre Montgomery, his acting video,
I had trouble.
I loved his
sympathizing with Billy. I had trouble with it.
In what, the second season or this
third season, sympathizing with him. They just try to make you sympathize with him.
No, they don't. In season 3, in season 2, he's an asshole. He's the asshole brother.
Yeah,
which is very familiar of it.
Yeah,
but in season 3, they don't make you sympathize with him. He's an asshole still going throughout the show.
But you find out why.
But he wasn't like that before. He wasn't the same reason. But going throughout the show, he kind of came to see, hey, listen, I can sacrifice myself for the life of everyone else, and he did that. That's the point where he shifted. He didn't shift to being a nicer person. He shifted as a Jesus Christ type figure, I think they wanted to do.
And I hear you.
That sauna scene, though, that sauna scene got me.
Oh, I was so hot.
Yeah.
It was.
It was what?
But no, I thought he was doing like the emotions.
They can't tell. It's under the table.
You could feel the emotions coming out of him. He's like, I didn't mean to do this. He was like legit crying. I think he actually said in an interview that's the only time, if you listen close, when he breaks through the glass, you can actually hear his Australian accent come out a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And I think didn't we make a comment saying like that he spit on the glass, but then it was like gone. It must have been really hot. It must have just like.
I don't know. Ryan was watching me during that season watch through instead of watching for the first time with me.
I mean, I'm always watching you.
Oh baby, I still fucking hate you.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like they showed you he had heart. They kind of showed you stuff, but that's like, and I felt that at the end definitely. I felt that, but it was kind of hard sympathizing with him at first.
No, it was. It is hard, but
we find out he comes from like a broken home technically.
Well, it starts off also with like him being a massive womanizer.
Yeah, and you wonder why he's the way he is, and you learn.
Yeah, you learn about it, but like it's still hard
the way they are.
It's still hard to sympathize.
Yeah, exactly. So. That's what I was saying. Yeah,
but going into the show, what theories do you have? All right, so let's start off with this. Me and Nigel spoke about this last week. Hopper died at the end of season 3, right? I suspect he didn't really die. A lot of people suspect he didn't really die because the show really likes showing the kills. Like I even was thinking, like, did Billy really die? But they showed him getting impaled. He got like
he got
him and Brenner might still be alive. Brenner might be, but Hop definitely when he looked at Joyce.
Yeah,
she looks down. They cut away. They show Russians get vaporized.
He was kind of smirking.
I think
I read one theory where he jumped into the gate before it closed.
That's what I'm thinking. I think
in the next season, Elle is going to be able to communicate with him, or Russians have.
I think either.
Okay, I'm going to tell you this right now. I think 11 lost her powers.
How?
Because
thanks, Moose, for tuning in. Heads up, Stranger Things 3 spoilers.
So
how? The thing in her leg. That's the last time she used her power.
Well, no, if you look at the end of season 3, she still hasn't gotten them back. It's been
No.
a few months,
And 3
they're
months.
slowly coming back. I think they took away her powers because if she had them, she'd be able to do the blindfold thing and find Hopper still alive. And
Who
if she
did?
11,
Who took away her powers?
she the
Russians?
freaking no,
How?
the mind flayer when it
Wait,
injected the
that thing. That's the
slug
last time
thing.
she was
That's what.
able to
All right,
use
so
her
that's.
powers.
I spoke about that last episode, and I wasn't sure. I thought that when they put the slug in, thanks Tyler for tuning in. I thought that when they put the slug in her foot, that or in her ankle, that I thought it took away the powers. And when I was talking with you about it, even though you saw it fucking 3 times, when I was talking with you about it, thank you. Let's just get the on-air middle finger to Ryan. But or let's get a thumbnail
kiss you
going.
on the lips
Let's
right
get him some
now.
middle fingers. Let's go.
Fuck you, you fucking piece of
Thumbnail
shit.
going. All right, let's go. No, but I thought that absorbed her powers, but what you mentioned to me is that it could have just been drained.
Yeah, because in the other season, I think she has points where she can't, like, she has some trouble, using them too. But that's just because she overdoes it. This time, though, like,
That's
it's
just
been a
recharge.
few months and she's still not able to get. Mike has to go and get the teddy bear at the end, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
so,
to grab that because she still can't. But he said, they'll come back, which we know
Yeah.
they're coming back.
But that's
But I'm pretty sure, like I said, that the whole reason they disappeared is so she can't find Hopper. So you believe
the mind flayer did it.
that
to
he's
do that.
gone.
How? With that thing, the slug. That was the last thing she
Yeah,
did. She pulled
so-
that out of her own leg.
Yeah.
And then she couldn't move the car. She couldn't do anything else. That was the last time you saw her use her powers.
Yeah, and what I thought was going to happen is I thought I was going to end the season with her like using her powers to kind of like just in some way moving a cup or something.
Kind of
Yeah,
like,
no,
And they
but
never did.
They didn't. That
Kinda like,
makes me so anticipated to see how. I want to know how and what is going on with
What
her
I do
powers.
think though is I think what happened to Hopper, I didn't get a chance to say this, is I think
Yeah.
Hopper hopped under the platform.
because there's a ladder there. At the
Yeah, I think he went under the platform,
was
and I think he got abducted by the Russians.
Yeah.
And I think that this next season is going to start with Hopper with the beard. I don't know if you saw in interviews, he has a beard now. So I think it's going to start with,
another movie. Who knows?
but I think it's going to start with
They're
him.
filming. They might be filming it.
Yeah.
For
So I think it's going to start with
in
him
prison.
being locked up in a Russian prison.
Yeah.
See,
He's
I'm
in
thinking
prison.
that he somehow got into the Upside Down and that he's locked in there. The Russians, because they've been if you look at the dates,
Yeah.
in the beginning of the season, they showed them experimenting in Russia and stuff, trying to
Yeah.
open up the Upside Down there. And if you look at the date, it actually takes place before season 2.
Yeah.
So they've been at this for a
does.
while. So they finally figured it out. You can see at the end of the post.
And you said that they
credits.
alluded to it, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I wanted to see.
Oh yeah, in season 2, Murray comes in, and I completely forgot he was in it. And the whole time he's like, "There's going to be a Russian invasion in Hawkins, I'm telling you." And I was like, "Wow, how did I forget this?"
And then
Yeah.
did you guys call the phone number?
Yeah.
No.
If you call Murray's phone number, he says, "If it's my mom, call at the
There's a phone
specified
number.
time. If it's Joyce, I got to tell you something, but it's better like to talk in person.
It's something.
Anyone else,
He's
like,
like,
fuck
it's
off."
something. He's like, I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's something. And so I read a theory that they have Brenner.
Yeah.
Brenner's in the
he's coming
in the
back.
jail because they need him for the stuff.
Yeah.
And Hop's in the Upside Down, but it could be either or whatever.
Mhm.
But also, what was I gonna say? Hopper.
Well, one thing, all right, I'll let you get your thoughts together. One thing that alluded to Hopper still being alive is that in an interview between Winona Ryder and Dave Harbour, when asked like on Google's like who's Joyce's boyfriend or whatever, and she went to go point to Harbour, and Harbour's like Bob, like he cut her off right then, and she put her hand down. So the fact that she pointed to him shows that he might still be alive. So I don't think they would have killed him off. He's a fan favorite. He's got that dad bod finally.
I think they want him to come back because if they bring Brenner back, and technically Brenner was Eleven's papa,
Yeah.
and Brenner's actually like kind of more of a father, so maybe they'll have like that, like,
Who's your dad?
yeah, dynamic.
I hated Hop too in the beginning of this season. He made me so angry because he was like,
I don't think I
trying to
hate
separate
it.
them.
I understood
I
him.
could-
Yeah, but I was
understood
angry
him.
at him. I was like, "What are
I
you
mean,
doing?"
we've had friends like that where they're just always with their girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever, and just always kissing. And
I understood
never-
Yeah,
him,
but like
it pissed
Hopper's
me
not used to being a
off.
father. It's not his like legitimate kid, even though he adopted her. It's like I get where he's
He
coming
looks
from.
at her like a daughter.
Yeah,
3
and,
inches.
And I really liked the letter that he wrote. I thought that was pretty cool when they
That
read it at the
destroyed
end.
Me. Yeah, this I was like, oh my god.
But I
The
think,
3 inches.
but
Yeah.
one thing I got to say about the season is when it ended, even with that post-credit scene of the Russian prison with the Demogorgon in there. I think that when I was watching that, it it didn't feel like I was being egged on for another season. Like if it ended there, I would have felt fine. You know.
But I want one.
I know. I want another season. I think season 4 is going to be the final season. I can't see them taking this on for like 6 seasons.
I'd like to actually
4 or 5. I thought they
Like,
shouldn't do it too long.
All right. So what do you think? What do you think they can tackle for season 5? What kind of topics regarding the Upside Down? Because they tackle the Upside Down three ways, 2 of which are very similar in season 2 and 3, with revisiting the Upside Down, Mind Flayer coming back and forth, Mind Flayer coming into the current world, possessing bodies, turning them into sacks of meat to form his incarnation on Earth.
The Russians are like experimenting, and I remember Rose was gonna say that guy. I wanted to like rewatch the first episode. That guy that they feed to the Demogorgon.
Yeah.
Is he in the first episode? The beginning of the first episode? Is he like in any scenes? Because then that would prove or whatever that when you turn to dust.
Remember,
I have this theory that when you turn to dust,
mm-hmm.
you end up in the Upside Down. You don't actually die because of the experiment and them opening the gate. And if for that's going to happen next season, I mean the Russians. I feel like this was even forced.
Yeah.
When watching the beginning of this season, I was like, at first I was like, is this season a little forced?
They're going this way.
We had Russians come to.
We got a Terminator.
But no, that's the thing. But that's the thing. Season 3 was just balls to the wall because they're like, hey, we know we're an homage to the 80s. Let's bring fucking Russians that are doing an experiment underneath a fucking mall. That'd be perfect for Dead Rising, where they took the entire mall and they just reorganized it and redesigned it to look like an 80s retro style mall. Yeah. And let's take a fucking Terminator and put it in the show too. Because why the fuck not, right?
But if
and let's screw it. Let's throw in some possession, some alien type shit in there.
That's like
and
let's get some Red Dawn season going.
Let's just figure out exactly. Let's just see what fucking sticks. I mean, what's more 80s than fucking America versus Russia? You know,
that's
making the Russians the antagonist.
Okay, I take that. Yeah, but I thought that like I'm like, oh, the Russians are gonna come, but of course that does work.
That's the point of point of the show. People keep forgetting the show is incredibly tongue in cheek, and if you don't like it, you're not going to like the show. But the show is meant to be that way. It's entirely meant to be the kind of show where you're going to want to sit there and see what homages exist in the show. You want to see what it alludes to. But here, you got something?
Was it Funhouse the movie we watched that time?
Yes.
I think they had I think someone said they had a line like when they go into like the actual like carnival like area and they go in that one thing in there like the Russians are going in with the guns looking for like Hopper. I think they pulled like a line straight from that like don't be afraid of like the tire. There was like something I was watching something they said something along those terms like they pulled something.
Movie Funhouse.
So that part reminded me of that a little bit too.
Yeah, because they go into the Funhouse.
So, what else was I said too?
And that mirror scene was really cool too, with the Terminator and the House of Mirrors.
How do you do that? I always, when they do movies like that, like a scene in a movie, I'm like, how do you not, as a cameraman?
I feel like they coat the camera in like a green tarp or something.
That might work.
Yeah, because like they do a lot. I think when I reviewed,
and then you could key it out.
When I reviewed Midsummer with Nigel, one thing I acknowledge is that the camera work was really annoying at points, but there were some points where they did like almost head-on mirror shots, and they didn't have the camera in there. I'm like, what?
How do you do that?
The last time I saw that was in. Have you seen Birdman?
Yeah, I love that movie.
Remember in Birdman there was
with the floating cameras?
No, but there's a scene where he's looking directly into a mirror.
Yeah,
and I was like, how?
I love that movie. When it came out, I watched it like 100 times.
Yeah.
I can't remember what this movie was. There was a movie way back. I'm trying to remember. This girl's running down the hall, and you see the mirror in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Right, and she's like going there, and then suddenly it is the mirror in the bathroom, and she opens it, and it changes.
We're nearly out of time too.
So
we've got 6 minutes left.
Dang.
Can you believe that?
I thought it was interesting. Did you read that the Demodogs turn into Demogorgons?
Yeah, it's the lifespan. That was the next stage.
Because at first you think it's a Demodog.
Yeah.
Which I love. At the end of season 3, at first people thought that was a Demodog, but then you see it like
the way they did.
Yeah.
They did it on purpose. So it was like that's a Demogorgon.
Like, oh damn!
But if they have a Demogorgon. Did they have the gate open?
Yeah.
They have in Russia.
So that's the thing. It's like if they have the gate open again. No, if they have the gate open again for another season, I'm going to kind of be pissed unless they go entirely over the top cheese.
I'm thinking,
you know, like seriously, if they don't go over the top cheese and rely on the strength of season 1, because season 1 was the scariest season. I think we can all agree on that. It was the only season with like, the real horror aspects of it.
Season 1
hold on. Season 1 was like the most horrifying season. If they encapsulate that with also the fun campy nature of season 3, it could be the best.
Season 3 was like more brutal though.
It was more brutal, but that's why
melting.
It was so campy.
Like,
that's what I loved about it.
Yeah, I love that. I was like, this is nasty.
But if they if they do the same kind of thing where the portals open back up at this time in Russia or something, it's got to be a really campy, over the top season, or else it just won't work.
I'm curious if they'll somehow find a way to open the gate here again, and they'll be able to go to Russia like a portal, like the two gates are connected now.
Yeah.
So they can get over there somehow. That's what I'm thinking.
I would probably figure that out. That's something Eleven would figure out.
When she gets her powers back, she's like, he's still alive. We got
Communist Russia still existed at the point, right? In that point in the 80s?
The Soviet Russia?
Yeah, like when this was still like, yeah. So then that kind of throws me back to Chernobyl, right? When the nuclear reactor went off, they were the only country that was able to create that kind of devastation, but they were also the only country that probably could have fixed it as well as they did. And that kind of leads me into thinking they could do the same thing at the portal. It could be a lot of like really determination on something that is really stupid to happen, but they could also be the only nation that can repair what happens with it. And I think that the kids being involved with it in that aspect would make it pretty interesting, but it's got to be like wild weapons,
They all moved away.
You gotta have Dustin just like over the top insane with his creations, like the ham radio he made.
That was great.
Yeah. But we got to wrap up, unfortunately. So,
what do you think?
What for
season 4? What is your theory?
That's what I thought. I think that season 4 needs to be a really over the top, grandiose thing. If they open back up the portal, it's got to be for a good reason.
Do you think they'll kill off any of the kids?
No.
You think they're all going to survive?
It's a Netflix show. They don't allow smoking on it. They're not going to kill off kids.
True. I don't think we really got to talk about that either.
Yeah, but I spoke about it last week.
Oh, this is true.
If you watched my show, you would know.
I did.
Anyway, so I am looking forward to season 4. We got to wait a full year for it. Might be less because I think that they recorded the season early and just held it off until July 4th.
Season 3 got postponed because right after season 2 came out,
they
started filming season 3, and the guy that plays Jonathan got arrested.
Really?
Yeah, I remember that. Like they were like, "Oh, we're still filming season 3," and then
what did he get arrested for?
The next news was, I think, it might have been drugs or something.
Okay.
I think
in
also,
Europe or something.
They all had their other movies too. Like I think he was filming like probably parts in It too.
Yeah, he was.
Millie was in Godzilla.
But I'm pretty sure they finished it early. I'm pretty sure they finished it early and they held it off. So we might get one at the end of the year. Who knows? Where it's not.
I hope at the end of the year.
Yeah. Is it really far fetched to think if they already still filming it?
I don't want it. I want to wait longer.
Okay.
You want to like rush out.
All right.
You want him.
So anyway,
force it. Yeah.
Season 4. We think it's going to be a good time. We hope you enjoyed it's a spoiler talk of season 3. We kind of got pretty deep into it, I think.
Yeah.
So now we're on our final segment of the show. What are you watching and who are you? Vinny, what are you watching?
What am I watching?
What are you watching? What have you been watching in your spare time?
Stranger Things. No, what am I watching? I mean, I got to check out Far From Home.
Yeah.
I really want to check
Far
out
From Home's really good.
Or two movies I really want to watch.
Yeah.
And maybe this week. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I got to get my funds back up.
Yeah, I'm supposed to go see that with my friend, so.
We'll make a date. We'll make a date, and we'll see it 3 times before bringing Ryan.
Yeah, and I mean, now I'm working on my music. I got the rest of the summer.
That's right. You got Suicide Pending going on.
Yeah.
Where can they find you?
Yeah, Suicide Pending on Facebook and Suicide__pending on Instagram. And I might have more shows coming up sooner. I was talking to some promoters, and I might have like more recent shows. But my show that I know I'm getting is August 15th.
So what kind of music do you make?
Emo, acoustic. I mean, I'm trying to form a band. Any musicians out there? I want to start a band. Guitarists, drummers, bassists. I need more pieces to it. I want to make it a band, but right now it's just me and my guitar, writing rhythms and stuff.
Awesome. And what about you, Ryan? What are you up to? What are you watching? Who are you?
Currently watching. I started Euphoria. I'm 3 episodes in. I think there's only 4 episodes right now. 3 episodes in. That show is very interesting.
A lot of penises.
Yeah, more than I did not expect to see what I saw, and now my virgin eyes, they are tainted.
Anything else you've been watching, or just that?
What else? A lot of anime and stuff like Boruto. I'm a huge Naruto fan.
Aren't you watching JoJo?
Bizarre
Yeah.
Adventure. All caught up on that. They didn't have a new episode this Friday, so I was sad.
But awesome. Where can they find you? What do you do?
Instagram, Krezik Art, which with the underscore, which
Spell
is
it out.
CRAESIK_art. That's on Instagram. And then my Facebook is just Ryan DePaoli, which is DEPAOLI. Yeah.
Okay. Everything's a
One of the most
question.
talented artists I know.
Yeah, he's a really good artist. He doesn't talk about it much, but on his Instagram you can find some really good doodles, and he does animations and such too. I'm Steve. I've been watching a lot of headphone and audio videos because I'm a nerd and I've been writing for my band a lot. Elisions, you can follow us on Facebook at ELISIONS, and we're that E with like the line on top.
That E.
That E. Yeah.
Can you just change your name to That E?
Yeah, we have stuff coming out soon. Stay tuned to that. You can find me on Instagram at Drakentas _DRAKONTAS_. Next week, me and Nigel are looking to review The Lion King. It's like I said in the beginning of the show, it's going to be slow weeks coming up forward. We're getting to the end of blockbuster summer.
Did you ever watch the original?
No, I'm going to watch that too. We're going to that.
Down.
Oh, okay. And we're also going to review the new Adam Sandler film on Netflix, as well as a few other things. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for tuning into the Jump Cut. We're excited to welcome back Nigel next week, all full in his glorious self. I want to thank Ryan DePaoli for coming on this week and Vinny Scadopo for coming on.
It was a fun time.
We hope you enjoyed the spoiler talk of Stranger Things, and we hope to see you soon. So, thanks for tuning in. Now I'm going to go run over there and end the stream. Thank you.
One love. You suck.
Thanks, Dave.